For young people entering the workforce, getting that first job is becoming a much harder proposition, and the problem is now global. But the latest ILO data shows youth unemployment has risen to 12.4% worldwide. About 67 million young people aged 15 to 24 and roughly 257 million young people are neither working nor in education or training. Well, our next report delves into how the global youth face a three-way squeeze: AI, geopolitics and aging population. Take a look.
Getting that first job is becoming a much harder proposition, and the problem is now global. The numbers show just how uneven this crisis is. 26.2% youth unemployment across the Arab states, 22.6% in North Africa, around 15% across Europe, with the EU at 15.5% in June. And even North America has climbed to 9.8%. The ILO says youth unemployment increased between 2023 and 2025 in 8 of the world's 11 subregions. And look at some of the individual markets. South Africa, more than 47% youth unemployment. China, 17.9% in July, an 11-month high and sharply up from 14.9% in June. Europe, 15.5%. India, 9.9% on the ILO's internationally comparable measure and 13 to 15% according to official estimates. And in the United States, youth unemployment was 8.5% in July. The numbers are not directly comparable across every country because national definitions and reporting periods differ. But young people are finding it harder to get a foothold. And now comes the bigger change. The traditional career ladder was simple: study, get a junior job, gain experience, move up. But AI is starting to change that first rung. The ILO says 6.1% of jobs held by 15 to 29-year-olds are in occupation highly exposed to AI-related change. If just 10% of those jobs disappeared entirely, up to 5.6 million young workers could be affected. And that does not mean AI will eliminate 5.6 million jobs. It means the entry-level pathway itself is vulnerable. And demographics are making the problem very different from country to country. In India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and much of Africa, millions of young people are entering working age, creating enormous pressure to generate jobs. In China, companies are struggling to absorb huge numbers of graduates even as the population ages. In Japan and much of Europe, the problem is almost the opposite. Populations are aging, workers are becoming scarce, yet young people can still struggle to enter the jobs that exist. Governments are responding, but increasingly by trying to connect skills with the industries of the future. India has announced AI training for 10 million young people. China is expanding employment services and training for young graduates. Europe is pushing apprenticeships and vocational education. And countries such as South Korea are linking AI investment, youth unemployment, and demographic policy. But there is a catch. Training young people is only half the solution. The bigger question is, will there actually be good enough entry-level jobs for them to enter? Because this crisis isn't simply about unemployment. It is about a generation trying to find its first rung on a career ladder that is itself changing. And that could ultimately determine not just what young people earn, but where they live, what they study, and whether they migrate, and even when they can afford to start families. For this generation, the careers transition is already underway. Business Bureau, WION World is One.